to an area that is a wildlife reserve just north of Dallas in Lewisville, Texas. The cool thing is I'm close enough to the city to where I don't have to spend a lot of money on gas. That's the river. That's the Trinity River. As you can really see to the bottom of it. It is really clear right now. Every once in a while I'll see some gar coming up, and there are some very big ones in this river. We're talking 5 feet, but most of the ones I see are about 3 feet. I always like coming here. There's good hiking trails. It's just a good place to get away. It's amazing how much wilderness area there is. This is, like I said, about 4 miles away from a major highway. If you look at Google Maps or something like that, you can find areas, just green areas on the map, that are accessible by the road. And if you find them, you can always go out there, test your skills, you know, learn how to make fires and tools, things like this. It's also a skill that not a whole lot of people know now in this day and age. Well, I think it's time to take a break and hydrate. It's getting late in the day. I'm gonna have to start finding a camp. Just to go over some of the stuff I brought with me, of course, as always, I've got my Marine Corps K-bar that was issued to me. Sharp, sharp, sharp. I always like to keep it sharp. I've got actually something I'm testing out, and it's a Schrade hand axe. And what's cool about this is it's really, really light. It's got a really sharp edge, really balanced. It's got a hammer edge, and it's a glass packed handle, so it's really, really light. The other thing is I made this little tin. This is the fire starting tin. And what I've done is I've used a Bass Pro gift certificate box and put all of the shavings, the fail rod, I have tampons in there, and really fine shavings just in case I need to get a fire started fairly quickly. And of course, keeping it in here keeps it waterproof and ready to go. These things are the bane of my existence. God, they hurt. Look at those nasty spikes right there. Wow. Some of the spikes in there, you can't see them, but they dig into you even if you got big, thick pants on. Here, there's snakes, there's spiders, scorpions, things that you have to look out for. Your senses are heightened. You don't know what you're gonna find. What I'm doing right now is I'm following a game trail. Game trails are the easiest way to move through places where there's no shelter, or excuse me, where there's no trail. There's a trail going that way, but I'm not sure if that's a hog trail or what it is. Actually found a trail, which is cool. Gives me a little bit of a break from all that bushwhacking. And I'll tell you, it gets tiresome. Whew. That spiky trees or spiky leaves or whatever, they hurt. And I don't like to be hurt. I want to show you this. You see that? You see that? Those are hog tracks. I'm thinking that I want to make a spear. And I do have a walking stick. And I brought a spear point. And I think that I'm going to find a place to camp pretty soon and make that, because I don't want to be caught off guard with one of those suckers, because they are mean. I found a good candidate for a camp spot because it's covered on all sides. So that means if there's any hogs that decide to come in, they have to come in from this way, which is good for me because I only have a spear. And those things, like I said, are nasty. That did not make a good shelter spot, because when I looked at it a little bit further, it had a bunch of tracks in there. And I don't think tracks of a pig in your campsite's a good thing. So I'm gonna go and keep looking. We've got about 3 hours of daylight left, so I do have enough time to get about another half an hour in before I really have to look for a place to settle in. I decided that I'm going to stay here tonight. The reason is, like I said before, because there's hogs, I want to have one side kind of shored up so I don't have to worry about security on the other side. Plus we got kind of a nice open area. There's some roots and stuff I'm going to have to take out and clear out, but it's going to be a pretty good place. So I'm going to drop my pack, get my tools out. Normally this would be just fine because there's not going to be any rain. No rain in the forecast, not a cloud in the sky. But I like to be comfortable, so I brought with me handy dandy Marine Corps, U.S. Army, and all the other armed services poncho. It folds all into its own hood, so if it rains you won't get wet, but it also makes a fantastic shelter. Next thing you're going to do is I actually brought a walking stick and put 550 cord on the handle. Well, this is going to come in handy for stuff like this. Any kind of cordage you can bring is always nice. Then the simplest way that you can do this is just to take the ends, let's say this here, tie a simple knot, and suspend it from one of the trees here. It's the simplest way. Now you can see the finished product. See, there's a nice little sleeping cavity. Pretty good. Now, even though it's very tough, I always want to go over the bottom before I lay everything out. But one thing I did want to show you is that this actually goes into a seat. Now is I'm just lining the fire pit with some sticks because the ground is quite moist, and obviously when fire and moist get together they don't like each other, so they fight, and usually moist wins. Time to make this fire. Fire's kind of interesting. You can get a flame, you can make all of the right moves. Sometimes it just doesn't want to go. There we go. All right, so I set everything up, got the fire ready, chopped a lot, and there is very, very good advice. Always bring a sharpening stone, because you always want to keep your tools as sharp as possible, otherwise they're worthless. So always put a good edge after you're done. Another thing is 550 cord. Obviously I used it for the shelter, but kind of what I said before is I used it. I brought a old kind of chef's knife and I put it in just a little sheath, and I put that there for a spear point because I know where I'm going. So now I have my walking stick, use some 550 cord, and if a pig were to come, which is very possible, he would have a very big surprise called a knife in his face. But I would still climb up a tree and scream like a girl. Alright, we're going to show another use for this schmog that we always, at least that I always bring. I collected some water out of the Trinity. Obviously I'm not going to be drinking it just the way it is. Okay, and that is going to be clean, drinkable water, sanitized by fire. And everyone loves fire. Work's all done. My camp's all set up. The water's over the fire, boiling to get rid of all the crap in it. And I'm just sitting here enjoying the night. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's just a ton of coyotes out tonight. Love hearing them sing. Just makes me know that I'm out in the wilderness, far enough away from people to where those guys can sing, so makes me feel good. This camping food tastes like crap, but builds a turd. Well, it's the morning. Made it through the night. There was quite a bit of crittery going on. There's critters all around, and it's